Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. We are starting at 7 p.m. because we're doing our Zoom meeting tonight for the January effect around 8 p.m. So let's cruise through, see what the market's looking like today. It was a little bit red, honestly, a little bit mixed. Tesla was up, Nvidia was up, and a bunch of other things were down, up all over. Eli Lilly was way up today. So we'll go through it and see what's going on here. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. How is everybody this evening? And here we go. There's your heat map right there. Microsoft, Apple, Oracle were all red, AVGO, Amazon down, Google. They were all red, but Nvidia and Tesla were up, Meta up a little bit right there. Eli Lilly pretty good right there. So we'll cruise right through the let's see what's going on, and we'll be hopping off right around 8 p.m. so that we can hop on this. I can hop on the Zoom call for the January effect stock. So I'll be doing that this evening. So here we go. Yeah, I wasn't feeling well this morning, and I'm still not 100%, but I figured let me do a show. It'll be good for my head, I think. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, last night we were doing the show. I just started to feel worse and worse as the minutes went on. I was like, I got to just hop off here. And I passed out and slept the entire night. Felt a little better, but like I said, not 100%. But anyway, let's cruise through, see what's going on. This AMCI I see in Tim Sky's pumping this thing today. That was running up all kinds of bigness today. Look at that, 168%, another 43 in the after hours. Holy cow, thing went nutty today. And then RADX was running up there. And what else? ARTV and Mask was running. We had looked at that not too long ago. There's that KXIN. There's that China one we had looked at recently. So let's take a look and see what's going on with our list and what else is going to be popping this week. And crypto is way down. Let's just look at it real quick. It's at 86. Excuse me. So yeah, it was at it was just, I thought, at 87.5, but maybe I'm mistaken. I'm looking at the stock cube. It definitely says 86.4 right there. I just thought it was up a little bit. It could have been a little bit ago. It's been bouncing around a lot, but you are coming down to your 20, and that has to stay right there, or it's going to break out of that bullish trend that was supposed to be staying in. So look at it. It could still rebound and still have a nice little dip there and go up, but it can't really dip much more from here. So it is kind of in a critical spot right there for Bitcoin. Here's your Ethereum. It's still in there, but again, coming down through your 20, we'll see if it can stall out and get cruising back up here. And Solana doing the same thing, dipping down, coming down to your MACD right there. Good old Ripple. Nice dip right there on Ripple. And look at it. It's crossing through the MACD. So that's any indicator. We might be in for a dip right here before Christmas. Not a good thing right there. And Doge looking like it's going to pull back. So I thought we were going to see a Santa Claus rally, and it's rallying the wrong way right here because Cardano's coming down, hitting the MACD soon. And here is Stellar. And like I said, crypto not looking so stellar at the moment. And Chainlink right here is pulling back a little bit as well, like the rest of them. So here is your optimism, and how optimistic are we that these things are going to get turned around? I'm not so sure right here. They looked way better back here 2 days ago. The last 2 days have been pretty brutal for it, not looking great for Bitcoin or crypto there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and updating that. And ONDS here, let's get cruising right through. Big old pullback right there. Another one not looking good. Open door came down through that trend line right here. And then QMCO was dipping down pretty good today. And we can take a quick look at the rest of these guys right here. RGTI and the rest of the quantum and computer hardware ones. Look at that, right back down to the trend line. Do they bounce right off of there? QUBT dipping down pretty hard, has some room that it could bounce down harder. Here's D-Wave dipping down pretty hard. So these guys were dipping. We already looked at QMCO. I meant to type in QTUM right there. And that's your Defiance Quantum ETF. And look at that coming down to your 50. Could easily come down to your 20. And it is making its way down to the MAC right there. And QSI right there pulling back in. That's not looking great. IONQ, that was pulling back pretty good. And let's just see what the opposite looks like. IONZ. And that actually doesn't look too bad right there. So It's interesting, and it does look like they do want to pull back a little bit more. Here's your RCAT coming down to your 20, and good old Z space right here. So we are seeing some dips right there, and that's your quantum and computer hardware ones. UNH right here, that was pulling back a little, not looking so bad right there for the United Healthcare Group. So we'll have to keep an eye. Maybe that'll be a good one. And Oscar was pulling back a little bit today. It was looking pretty good. It's still over the MACD there, but could it roll off? It was pulling back there today. Was looking at that bad boy. And let's see what our Trump company, crypto companies are doing. ABTC still in the basement down here, still pulling back. And we're just watching that one teeter back. And Pew taking a nice dip right there as crypto was too. And let's see what NCPL is doing, that net capital. That was the only one that kind of looks decent right here. And it still doesn't look bad for net capital. So we'll have to see if that one actually wants to do something tomorrow. There's a possibility that it could curl up and run. PSQH coming back down right there. But yeah, NCPL, the only possibility right there that could be kind of decent, perhaps. Look at it trying to curl up, get into that channel, and could get running up today. They reported their QT results and schedules investors update or something for tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that one, NCPL, tomorrow, see if it's anything good right there. And that's about it for that crew of the Trump company ones. And then your BMNR, that was pulling back pretty big today. And then SBET was as well. And UPXI and all these guys, they were not looking great today either. There's your UPXI down some more. And what else was pulling back? ORBS. This one's going to keep pulling back. If Bitcoin's not running, that one definitely pulls back. And even our FGNX right here has some pull back yesterday, but it was up today. It was down a little bit today. Maybe that's the bottom of it on this little pullback, and then once it gets turned around, we'll keep an eye on it. Look at it. Doesn't look too bad. It's actually one of the more decent ones, so we'll be keeping an eye on that one right there to see if it can bounce back into the channel. Our FGNX, FG Nexus right there. And let's see what TONX is doing. That was pulling back too, and that one's been pulling back a lot. It does have them quick pops, but that's about it. And Galaxy right here with crypto pulling back, that's getting wrecked right now for Galaxy. And then your ASTS Space Mobile got destroyed, and them the space ones were running last week, but they're tending to be pulling back right now. And Kodak pulling back some more right there, not looking so great. And maybe it is going to pull back all the way down to this lower eights. That would be crazy right there. But there's 4 straight pullback days, 1 more, 2 more, and then it could get cruising back up. You know how they go. They only run up so many days in a row, and then they definitely pull back, and then they can get running up again. So we'll be keeping an eye on Kodak, you know that, and UMAC right here, the Unusual Machines. And that had a big pullback today. I saw that, but back down to the MACD. So we'll be watching all these tomorrow to see if anything wants to bounce off the MACDs or the 20s or wherever they're at, and see if anything's left in them, or they're going to pull back some more going into the Christmas holiday. That's what we have to see tomorrow as Bitcoin's teetering right there. I think the market's going to kind of follow that, to be honest with you. And here is your nuclear just kind of hanging out down there, not doing a whole lot. And LITM is pulling back right there. And then that NIX right here, that was dipping back. So a lot of pullbacks, and mostly the market is. And IVF, look, this one recently split. I remember we were looking at it. It looked like it was trying to get there to set up, but you had some good pullback on that today. So that one just keeps getting diluted. Remember that Invo Fertility or whatever the heck it is. So there you go at IVF. And Sinez right here. How are you, Janica? Sinez pulling back this today, Friday, and then today as well. And it is sitting right down there on the MACD, but it did look like it was trying to get rolling. I have a feeling this one could get bouncing right here. So keep an eye on Sinez tomorrow. We'll see if it really wants to get cruising back up. So that looks like it's pretty interesting. Not guaranteeing you anything if it's going to definitely bounce off that MACD, but it has hope right there for Sinez. And then that Let's see what else is there. Hertz right here in CMG. Hertz was down a little bit right there. Chipotle was up the other day and a little bit of healthy pullback. I don't know if it's really that bad today. It did kind of run up a little bit and then pull back some. So Eli Lilly, that was up. And again, we've been talking about this thing and it's running right back up. We talked about it running up, running down, and now it's running up. And I don't think we're doing anything about it. We probably should though, because that one's pretty good and it looks like it's going to continue to run. And here's our Cracker Barrel coming back down. I did not think this one, even though the whole market's coming down, I just didn't think this one had it in it anyway. So that's pulling back if the market's going to be pulling back. And here's our Lulu. That was up today. And that's not looking bad right up into the top right there, Luis Rodriguez. Look at that thing, Lulu. Not looking too bad on the good old LULU right now. And then we have our Boyle right here is pulling back. That's our natural gas. And we'll see if this is the bottom right here. Look at it as it's approaching this bottom area right here. So we'll see if we get a good bounce. That will be a good one right there. You already know that's going to bounce back up. And Gush has been pulling back, and that's the oil and gas one. So everything's kind of pulling back at the moment, I would say. And how about plug right here? It's been plugging along. Now it's plugging back down. And we'll see if it gets back down to your 20 right there. So that is what your PLUG looks like at the moment. Good old plug power. And let's see, QuantumScape, that is our QS. And look at that dip on it. So had been sitting on that line, that trend line right there, and then dipped right down. So yeah, these things do not look beautiful. Let's put it that way. So I must say we could still see some more pain and dipping tomorrow. And there's your rocket company, Zach, and that thing is pulling back. It was trying to crawl up there. It did run up a little bit, but the Friday and then today just kind of destroyed them all. And then it's coming back to your 50. It might come right back down to that 1690s perhaps. What is that? Is that what that said? 16? Yeah. I mean, that's in the 17s. Just drop right through if it gets under this 50 line right there, like 1755. So obviously looking at the market tomorrow morning and see what it's going to be doing and how it looks right there. How about your Home Depot pulling back a little bit? Not looking too bad right there. And Lowe's was up today. So I think Home Depot and Lowe's could be some of your few ones that are going to be looking good for tomorrow, as and obviously LLY, Eli Lilly, whatever the heck it's called. That one obviously looks like it's going to keep some momentum there. So there you go with Home Depot and Lowe's. And then LDI was down today, and that looks like it's going to be pulling back to this other trend line down here. So that's not looking too hot. And this HOUS, good old house, has been pulling back. So let that one go down. It was up in the top for a little while, and then you have your Tylenol maker right here, and that's pulling. I mean, that's a pretty soft pullback, though. I wouldn't say that's too bad. You may still come back to your 20 right there, so just be careful. And then it should pick right back up for KVUE. And then our IMRX, we've been watching this bad boy. This is the one that has the pancreatic cancer medication or trials or whatever's going on. And this was pulling back, so excuse me. And then we'll have to see if it wants to touch off of this trend line and the bottom there and get bouncing back up. That's what it appears like it wants to do right there for IMRX. And then your Figment right here, FIG. Is that what it's called? Figma. That's what it is. That purple dinosaur's Figment. And that was pulling back as well. So yeah, you got a lot of things pulling back, basically the whole market right here. Here's that Carmen. That was definitely pulling back. And then your critical metals over here was pulling back as well. So not a whole lot looking good today. I'm not going to lie, unless you were doing Tesla. Tesla looked good right there. Look at that popping up. Looks pretty nice to continue up. And how about your C1? That's CWAN, and that even pulled back. We're waiting for that buyout, and I don't know. It's it came down through the MACD. It's sitting on that trend line. It looked really good. If it comes down to the 50, it might be in trouble right there, especially for options holders. And RR right here, Rich Tech Robotics, pulling back right there as well. So I'd imagine SERV is pulling back. Yeah, I'd say and how about that iRobot? What is it? IRBOT. What is it? Hold on, let me see. iRobot. Why can't I spell it? There it is, IRBT. That's it. They're going bankrupt right here. They mentioned bankruptcy today. Look at that bankruptcy right there for iRobot. So they're not looking so good right there, I must say. That wasn't a good thing for them. So that happened today as well. And where were we over here? CELH, that Celius was down, but that's hanging in there, not looking so bad for that one. And then good old Elf was up. Look at Elf, that's actually looking pretty good. So we might have a good run for Elf. I mean, it is 10 days till Christmas, so that might as well get cruising right there for good old Elf, ELF, and USAR. Another one pulling back today pretty big, and some of these looked pretty good last week. Good old Snapchat just hanging out down here. I have a feeling that could be pulling back a little bit. And then our IREN big dip there, and we were looking at that last week. Paramount with the whole Netflix deal or Netflix Warner Brothers fiasco. It's trying to hold itself on that trend line right there and crawl back up. Let's look at Netflix right here. That was down a little bit. That looks like it's going to be pulling back. And Warner Brothers is way up here, just waiting to see who's going to buy them out. So interesting looks. And VWAV is that Vision Wave. And that took a huge dip right there. So that is what the market looks like. And Janica wants to see that AMCI. And like I said, I saw Tim Skies pumping this thing earlier. It was way up there. It ran up more in the after hours. I did see it. So we'll look at it over here. Good old AMCI. Not looking bad for the morning. I would definitely say for laptop travel and the morning crew, look at it. It's already running in them after hours right there. So I would say keep an eye on that bad boy AMCI computer hardware, AMC Robotics right there. And that is ripping. I'm not even sure what they do, or it looks like it's pretty new as a matter of fact. So it looks like it's a straight up pump right there. AI robotics sector rebound, and retail buzz drove over AMC's 43% surge. I don't know what it even did, to be honest with you, but I just know it was getting pumped up there. It doesn't look bad to continue running in the morning, considering it's still up in the after hours, and it looks pretty good, especially at 4 a.m. there, Janica. So there you go with AMCI. And that BTGD right there, that Bitcoin and gold swan, that one was down, and all them guys were down as well. And of course, JNUG. I don't know why I keep coughing. JNUG right here and gold, they were pulling back as well. As you can see, GLD, all these guys were pulling back. So yeah, it wasn't a beautiful day in the market, that's for sure. GDAXG, that was pulling back. And how about your silver also pulling back? It doesn't look terrible though for silver, so we can keep an eye on that. And there's your VanEck Rare Earth and Strategic Metals ETF right there, and that one is even pulling back. So everything going down right there. Let's take a look at our SPY. That was down today, down $1.03. Looks like it wants to pull back a little bit more tomorrow. I could see it trying to pull back some. It is hitting that MACD. I could see it trying to come down to this 20 a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be out of question, that's for sure, the way the market looks. And then your Qs were down today as well, and they were pulling back there for most of the day. There you go, and came back down, and even pulling back there in the after hours. So they don't look so hot either as they're crossing through right there. So you're coming through your MAC or your 50s and 20s and coming down. So yeah, it's not a beautiful look, I'm not going to lie, right there. For the Qs, the SPY, and IWM also pulling back. So no problem, Janica. Yeah, that one should continue to run in the early morning for sure. AMCI, it's already bumped up in the after hours. So I would assume that early morning rush for that one should be pretty good. And let's see, what's our Michael Anthony ones doing right here? ABEO. This is what he likes. That one had a big old pullback right there. And then that D Local Limited, and that was pulling back like everything else. So not many things were holding up today, but let's go through our Mag 7 and our and the rest of these guys, the big caps and the ones that we look at. And the Dolphins versus the Steelers tonight for Monday Night Football. So we'll probably be off before that even begins, because we're going to hop off around 8 p.m. because we're having our Zoom call. We're supposed to anyway. And we're having our Zoom call. I know Ben was like losing his voice earlier. I wasn't feeling well. I don't know what happened when we were in New York the other night. I mean, we were all fine, and today seems like nobody's doing so well. But anyway, I'm doing much better. I think I'll be all right. And I was literally drinking chicken soup broth all day out of a mug. Like, it was so good. I don't know if you guys seen, I posted that picture on X, and I made a big old pot of chicken soup and matzo ball soup, matzo balls for matzo ball soup. And happy Hanukkah. It is Hanukkah, first night of Hanukkah there. So happy Hanukkah, everybody. So yeah, I made matzo ball soup for Hanukkah tonight. And it is delicious. And it did made it at the right time. I put that on yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I cook it for like 24 hours. And I slow cook it overnight, and it is so good. It reduces. I have this huge pot, and it reduces it almost in half, and it is, oh my goodness, it's delicious. So there you go. But I did drink a lot of that today. But I'll tell you what, I feel way better. I think I was maybe dehydrated. That definitely hydrated me, that's for sure. So good stuff, and right, perfect timing that I had putting it on yesterday, like in the morning. So worked out perfectly. Anyway, here we go. Let's look at our Mag 7. Good old Apple way down today. Look at that thing dipping down. And then you had Amazon pulling back. So, like I said, the market definitely doesn't look too hot. Google pulling back a little bit right there. And then Meta was somehow up. So, I don't know. It looks like it's trying to crawl up and set up. I would say if any of them look pretty decent right there, it might be Meta. Microsoft's pulling back as well. And then you have your NVIDIA right here was up. And I don't know how good that even looks, to be honest with you guys. I mean, has that look like it's trying to hold itself up, but it looks like it's going in a free fall tomorrow. So unless it can get it together and bounce tomorrow, I don't think Nvidia is going to be that great this week either. And then you have your Tesla, and that one I would say is the one that you want to be looking at, because that one's running up there looking pretty good, that's for sure. And that's what Tesla was looking like today. It jumped up immediately, had a little pullback, and was bouncing around, did pull back a little bit in the after hours. So we'll look at it tomorrow morning. I don't know why I have to keep clearing my throat. I have no idea. But anyway, excuse me. And so yeah, that's what Tesla looks like, and it's not looking bad. What happened? Tesla rate rises 4% after what? Bush projects up 3 trillion valuation by 2026 and something. I don't even know what they're talking about, but what the heck is Bush or whatever? So anyway, that's Tesla. That's your Mag 7. That's what we're looking at with them guys. And again, Tesla and Meta look the best. Tesla obviously looks way better. And we'll see if Nvidia can actually do something. AMC right here pulling back, but GameStop was up today. That was looking pretty good. So might have to keep an eye on GameStop possibly getting set back up again. And it looks like that setup list, all them stocks ran off, and now we're gonna have a whole new setup list, that's for sure. And let's see what Chewy, that was up today as well, and that's trying to recover after pulling back. Unity was pulling back right there. And let's see what our we already looked at Netflix. It was down. And yeah, I mean, Netflix could be just dipping around down there, but could be a great opportunity. Like I said, we'll see if it wants to level down a little bit, but it doesn't look too bad to be a good opportunity. So there you go with your Netflix and AVGO right here. Big old dip. Look at that thing, even down more in the after hours. MU coming down some more, and that was dipping down as well. And let's look at the rest of the semiconductors, because TSM not looking great today. SMCI was trying to set up, and then that took a nice pullback dip today. And AMD had looked good before, and that's even dipping down there. So a lot of them not looking so great. QCOM, that one trying to hold on, but I'm not so sure how much it will. And then snow was coming down in New Jersey yesterday, and snow is still coming down in the market right here. So there you go. SNOW, that is still pulling back and not looking perfect right there. And PayPal pulling back a little bit today as well. And then, of course, we have our Intel down, and Dell was up a little bit, but that was pulling back there Friday, and we'll see if it can actually do anything tomorrow with the market the way it is. IBM, not so sure. It wants to curl up in a pretty good spot, but not so sure it's ready. It looks like it's ready to pull back, to be completely honest with you. With the rest of the market is what it looks like. Let's see if we can get turned around tomorrow, but I'm not so sure. Palantir right here, sitting in a decent spot with your 20 rolling up to your 50, but it could fall back into that channel. There's no guarantee it's going to pop up there. And look at Sophie right there. Big old dip ever since they had that offering. It's been pulling back and not looking so hot. So There you go with Sophie. And your Mara and Ryan and all these guys, they had enough of Bitcoin and them not going. They were set up and trying to rock and roll, and Bitcoin and crypto wouldn't do it. So then all of these had to pull back. They didn't really have a choice. So there's even Clean Spark. Look at it. I was holding on for how many days over here? It was like, can you just get popping? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like almost 2 weeks or more. And then finally had to pull back. So there's your Clean Spark. So yeah, they're not looking so hot, and crypto's not looking so great. And let's see what MicroStrategy. He's not happy either. Sayer has to be like, what is going on right now? This was supposed to be popping, and it's popping the wrong way, that's for sure. And there's Robinhood down. Coinbase was down quite a bit today, and Webull was even down. So all these guys pulling back big. There's your space right there, and that's pulling back at the moment. So even space was pulling back. Had looked good pretty the other day. Bowie not bad. And let's look over here. Lockheed Martin was up this the defense stocks are looking pretty good. So you might as well look at that one. Defense stocks, and we can go through some of them like Lockheed Martin. How about Huntington Ingalls right here? That one was pretty good. Not looking too bad for HII. So you can keep an eye on them bad boys. They're not looking too bad for the hours. Well, not all the hours. I would say more the defense ones, to be completely honest with you. It's not really the space ones. It's more or less the defense ones. So you got to kind of go through the sector and see who's like really into defense, like Lockheed Martin and stuff like that. And then them ones are looking pretty good. So it is interesting right there. I was kind of scanning through it. I'm telling you, the market's a little bit crazy right now. That GD doesn't look too bad right there. That GPOS is moving back, but this one right here, that doesn't look too bad. You can keep an eye on that one. That one looks like it's setting up there. GD, General Dynamics. So keep an eye on that. Tomorrow, that looks pretty good right there. So there you go with some of them guys. And let's see what else is going on over here with DJT. I'm imagining that DJT is pulling back here, and it is pulling back with the rest of the market. And then you have your Nike over here, and that one is it's not too bad right there for Nike. When's their earnings? Aren't they coming up December 18th? They are this week, right? They're Thursday, it looks like. So Nike has earnings on Thursday, so you can look at that if you like earnings and Nike and take a look at that. It doesn't look too bad, I must say. McDonald's, it loves to thrive when the market's going down. I don't know why, but it tends to do that. So there you go with McDonald's and Disney right there pulling back. Luis Rodriguez and Oxy pulling back a little bit. ExxonMobil also is pulling back pretty good today. And your DXYZ is also pulling back after that major run up. And they're the ones that we look at. And you guys didn't even want to look at anything else. But let's just take a look and see what else is going on here in the market. And like I said, not a whole lot even going on. So yeah, AMCI is their big runner right there and popped up in the after hours. So keep an eye on that. Your Asian stocks set to fall ahead of key U.S. jobs data, and stock futures are a little changed as traders await payrolls report. Ford to take $19.5 billion charge in sweeping EV pilot. What's that say? Ford to take a $19.5 billion charge in sweeping EV pilot. What does that even mean? I don't even know what they're talking about, what they're trying to even say. NASDAQ seeks to extend trading hours. And as Wall Street gears up for 24/7 move right there, Joseph Levy, you just got here. How are you? I know you got pulled tonight. And they made some big money on risky trades in the market this year. Then they posted about it. There you go. Somebody did it. Who's that? I have no idea what they're even talking about. What are they talking about? I guess these guys. This looks like an advertisement. That's what I would think. That's kind of weird that it was up there. They usually don't put like ads like that on here. That's why I was like, what is this thing? Anyway, there you go with that. So there's your news right there. And let's see what else is happening over here. Not a whole lot going on. Like I said, crypto, we looked at that at the beginning. That's pretty down and red and not looking hot. It is in a critical spot, though, like I said, for Bitcoin. So I'll be keeping an eye on this one, because it's still in a bullish channel. If it can rebound here, it could get back up, and that would just be a little healthy pullback of a day. But I don't know, because the markets don't look so great. I'm not going to lie. And so usually the markets have been kind of not dictating, running off of Bitcoin a lot lately. As you can see, Bitcoin pull back, the SPY pull back right there, the Q's pull back as well, and also your IWM. So that's what we're looking at across the board right there on your indices. They're pulling back. And let's see what else is going on over here. Let's look at this one right now. See if we see anything. That's your SOXS. So your semiconductors are going down. Your SOXS is going up right now. So you can keep an eye on that. That's your semiconductor bear. There's that walk right there. It was pulling back a little, and mask right there. That was actually up today. We had looked at that before, an OCG big pullback, and the video was hanging out. It was actually up, but we'll look at it tomorrow, see what it actually wants to do. It could bounce, but I don't think it wants to. I mean, it's in a spot where it could. It just looks like it would pull back more. That at the moment, big bear pulling back right there, BBAI, and there's your Tesla. No, this is a TZA. That's your small cap bear right there. There's Tesla. That was running up. I thought that was a Tesla ETF because Tesla's been moving. Here's that PAVS trying to get set up right here. Your canopy growth and your cannabis stocks, they all ran up early and then did pull back today. And let's see, here's like one of these Tesla. That's a Tesla bear one pulling back right there. There's your plug. Soxel right there. Open door down. iBit is a Bitcoin one. So yeah, nothing really crazy going on. Here's that PAVS. It's trying to get set up right here. It just looks like it's pulling back a little bit at the moment. So that is what they look like right there. Let's just see something right here. If we have anything popping up that we want to take a look at, I don't even know if anything. Oh wait, there you go. BKE. That doesn't even look good for Buckle. Let's see if anything pops up over here, and a few of them popping up. How about waste management right there? That WM not looking bad. And XYL, that looks pretty good right there. Let's take a peek at it and see what it's doing. XYL. It's not too bad right there. Look at that thing trying to get set up. I would say keep an eye on XYL tomorrow. That doesn't look too bad at the moment. And then ACGL was running up. Philip Morris had been setting up. It's running up. There's the Smucker company right there. And that's a jelly company. And Abbott Laboratories is running up. And Yum Brands, look at that thing running. And HIG right there. And AIZ. So there are some ones that are popping up. You just got to find them. There's Aflac right there and HSY. Good old Hershey Company. Look at this thing. Looking pretty good going into wow, look at Hershey right there. That's jumping up. Look at HSY. We should be keeping an eye on that thing. That looks pretty decent down there. And ED right there. Consolidated Edison, not bad. So here's some decent ones that popped up on the scanner right here. As you can see, RSG and a couple other ones. So there you go with them bad boys. Let's take a look at Galt and see what it's up there. Joseph Levy. It was looking pretty decent the other day. Hold on, if I could type it in, it would help. There you go with Galt. And it is up some more today. You're right. It was looking pretty good. And that is a pretty decent chart right there. So take a look at this Galt. That is looking pretty decent. Well, I forget. What did you even say that they were doing? You did say it, and I totally forget what you even said. But yeah, that's not a bad one right there. Has a lot of good support there as well. So there you go for that GALT. Not too bad right there. That chart doesn't look bad at all. And let's see what else is happening over here today. Not a whole lot, like I said. Let's see what's on this side. That RADX is popping up. And let me see what else. Oh, that one's brand spanking new. What is this one? WSGE is Warren Street Global. And yeah, that thing is brand new. We'd have to look at that tomorrow. No idea what that's going to do. There's that AMCI, obviously. Had a ton of volume today, I'm sure. That's let's see, what did it have in volume? 103 million right there. It's running in the after hours. Like I said, it could continue to run there, especially in the morning. So you're going to keep an eye on that one. Mask was running up today, and IMG, that was kind of cruising along there. So couple other ones that were running up. The market just looks a little wild, that's all. And good evening there, Zach and Bull right there. Let's see, all these guys were coming back down. Coinbase took a nice dip right there. Look at that one. And even Robinhood was down pretty good right there. So yeah, Bull, That one's also pulling back at the moment. So there you go. That was a pretty healthy pullback right under the 20, and we'll see what it can do when it hits this MACD. Hopefully, it can get rolling right back up there and get cruising. So, yeah, the market's not looking too hot, guys. I can say that. So, oh, and that galt makes a medication for the liver disease. That's what you were saying, Joseph Levy. Now I do remember. But there you go. So GALT making medication for liver disease, and bull not looking so bullish at the moment there, Zach, I must say. For liver cirrhosis, they went through 3 trials and have reverse stage 4 liver disease, and they no longer need to be on the liver transplant list. They filed for the paperwork with the FDA already, and that was back in November. So they are expecting a response very soon. And there you go. So yeah, that's some crazy news right there. And laptop travel's a little bit busy right now, so that's all good. And you like VFS, huh? Let's see what that is. What is your VFS right here? And that is looking pretty decent there. VFS curling up. Definitely going to keep an eye on that. Not even familiar with that one. VinFast Auto, and it's in Vietnam right there. So there you go with that one. And let's see anything else going on, guys, because it's not a whole lot happening here in the market. Like I said, Johnson and Johnson looked like that was up a little bit there today. That looks pretty good to continue to run maybe some momentum in that one. For tomorrow for J&J, the FDA approved something, Johnson's Akiga or something like that. I don't even know what the heck that even says. But anyway, let's see if it comes up here. Holy cow, look at all these recent approvals. And let's see, AMPH. A lot of times these approvals and these things start running up here. Like AMGN looks pretty good right there, setting up. We'll have to see what they're up to. There's AstraZeneca. They're on here like all the time. They're constantly getting approved for something. And let's see, this one's pulling back. BCRX, not too bad. That looks like it's curling up right there. Look at that look. That's pretty nice. And KYTX right there was already running up. But yeah, a couple good ones right there that look like they have recent approval, FDA approval as well. So there you go with them. And Laptop Travel had that AMCI was up over 600% midday in the newsletter subscribers. So there you go, guys. And that's why you need to check out Laptop Travel's newsletter. He had talked about that one in there. So there you go, everybody. And let's see what else is going on. I mean, there's not a whole lot happening over here. We have a Dolphins and Steelers game coming up tonight at whatever time, 8:15 or whenever that starts. Let me see what's trending over here. And then we also are supposed to have our Zoom meeting tonight for the January effect stock. So that's why I hopped on a little bit early. That RADX, we were already talking about it right there. That was jumping up today big. And so there you go. That hopped up, did pull back there in the after hours, obviously. AMCI, IREN we looked at was way down. How about this one? Click right here. And that's Click Holdings, and that thing looks pretty good. That could be clicking tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye on CLIK. And that could be moving early morning there. Laptop Travel. Apple was way down. Tesla was up. Omar, let's see who Omar is. I'm not even sure what Omar is. Oh, I can't type it in either, but OMER. There you go. And that is pulling back big time. So they did something wrong. Or it's just the market, but they're trending over here with something up. How about Ford? What are they up to? Then they have some kind of like EV news or some unveils a sweeping strategy shift with 19.5 billion charge, canceling current F-150 Lightning, pivoting to hybrids and extended range EVs or something. I don't even know. But anyway, there you go. And that is good old Ford right there. And that trade desk pulling back there today, pulling back some more. And let me see, that's what's happening right there in the market. BNZI, this one was trying to cruise up there today, as you can see. Keep an eye on this thing tomorrow. This one could be setting up to run for BNZI, so that could be a good possible one right there. How about this one? This one had run recently as well. GIBO right there was up. and you can keep an eye on this thing. Look at it. It's just continuing to run right there. So you could continue to run up in the morning on GIBO. This one's been running also for the last few days. I don't know what they have going on. FBRX Forte Biosciences. And look at it. It doesn't even look bad. It's had some big run ups. I don't know. They have something going on here, but no news. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but it keeps continuing up. It's going up in the after hours. FBRX. So you can watch this thing as well, guys, because that thing's been running. And let me see anything else that looks good. How about OCG Ed? We haven't looked at that in a little while, and it's been trying to run up there today a little bit, hitting the 50. And American Airlines was up today. That doesn't look bad, and Delta didn't look too bad either. So maybe your airlines tomorrow look pretty good for tomorrow, and of course your defense ones like Lockheed Martin and stuff, they look pretty decent there. And let's see what else. DOS, that looked pretty good considering gold was going down. We'll have to see what they look like tomorrow. So there's a couple other ones right there. I didn't even look at the Jolie's jumpers or jams. Let's look at them. Here's Rhythm. Look at that thing. It ran up the other day on Friday. Look at that thing. It got into its rhythm, guys. Holy cow. That thing went from 25. No, it opened at 20, as low as 19.99. And it went up to $50 for some reason. I have no idea what happened there, but I would say keep an eye on that thing. Good old RYM. It may really get back into the rhythm there. And then your blink charging was starting to look a little better in the basement, we'll say. It's down there. Good old Sezzle here pulled back pretty good, so we have to wait for that to get turned back around. Sterling was up. We'll see if it has that bounce in it there tomorrow. Not so sure. Rivian wasn't too bad today. Still trying to cruise along. And then here's your Symbiotic as well. And that was down. Good old Michael Anthony. So how are you doing? And let's see what else is going on. Client tipped you off the VFS. Yeah, not looking bad there. And then that AMCI. Ross Cameron made 87K today on that RADX. That's awesome for him. That's sweetness. Holy cow. Look at that bad boy. That's a good day right there. Wow. Beauty. NONDS right there. January 16th calls are saying, huh? I think it might pull back a little more. We have to see what this market looks like tomorrow. It's a little bit wild right there. Markets will crash much more. Michael Anthony saying, and you say that start time at 8, and then you started. I had to start early tonight, Michael Anthony. I posted it out, but you were doing a Zoom call at 8 p.m. for the January effects stocks, and so I hopped on a little bit early, and I didn't do the morning show because I wasn't even feeling well today. But and I woke up this morning, I definitely wasn't feeling great, but feeling much better now. So I figured let me hop on, do a show for an hour from 7 to 8, and then let me hop on the Zoom call, and we'll talk about our January effect stocks. There'll be a bunch of people on that bad boy, and then we'll get that all figured out, and then I'll go pass out. But I'll put the night note up there in the Discord for everybody, and I do have some good plays going on. I was looking at some setups today and just trying to gear what the market was trying to do, to be completely honest with you. So there you go, Michael Anthony. But that is why we started at 7 this evening, and we'll start at 8 tomorrow night. How's that? So look at Bloomberg TV that the futures are so red. Are they really red there? I didn't even look. I'll look at the Yahoo map or the Yahoo app real quick. It generally tells me pretty good. So hold on, let me check it out real fast. I believe they probably are. The market doesn't look great. Yeah. S&P down 0.16, Dow down 0.09, and NASDAQ down 0.59. So I would say they're down a little bit, that's for sure right there. And I would say that's what the market looks like. And it's not a whole lot happening here, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, our crypto is down, pulling back there, 86.1. And it is Bitcoin's at a critical spot right here, guys. It's still in a little bit of a bullish trend. It definitely pulled back a lot today under that 20, which isn't a good look. But if that's the bottom and it gets pulled back up and can get back into the channel, it'll be perfectly fine. It's just a good little pullback today. But again, it's not a perfect look for it. So we have to see exactly what it wants to do. And again, that was the bottom right there. Unless this thing comes back down, then yeah, and then crypto is definitely not going back up right now. If this thing doesn't hold up, and that's probably going in for tomorrow. I'd say crypto's going back down pretty good. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. You know that. So yeah, plenty to look at. And we'll be on. I'll be on at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Like I said, definitely feeling a lot better. So I'll hop on in the morning. We can go through everything, see what's happening there, and we'll go through and pick out what's going to be popping and which way the market actually wants to go up or down. But like I said, it does look like it's pulling back at the moment. And let's see, Bloomberg's much better. Yeah, I don't even use it, but it's all good. Like I said, I generally don't even look at the futures too much. And Sophie definitely heading down right there. Oh man, that's yeah, it's going straight down. It's at 25.62 at the moment, and I'd say you're going down. You could even dip. Now, like I said, the market does not look good right here. That Santa Claus rally was looking way hotter to happen last week. Let's put it that way. So interesting how fast it can turn around and move that quick. But we'll look at NVIDIA too tomorrow because that's in an interesting spot. But actually, looks like it wants to pull back as well. As you can see, it was up today, sitting on the trend line, trying to work its way up, but it does look like it could pull back unless something happens tomorrow and that thing crawls straight up. It's in an interesting spot, like I said, but we'll see what's going on. What happened today? NVIDIA launched a Nemotron 3 family, the open model. I don't even know what that's even talking about right there. So anyway, it says something. They always have something happening. So that's regardless of that, and we'll see what's happening with NVIDIA. So anyway, there you go. And let's see what else is going on. Laptop travel, B hat, that blue hat interactive right here. B hat, and let's see. That's running up a little bit, spiking up today, not looking too bad. And HHS is Hart and Hanks right here. That's an interesting look. If that gets crawled up, it will run, that's for sure. And TPCS is Tech Precision, not looking so bad right there. So a couple other ones right there. And Bloomberg gives you so much other info. Yeah, like I said, I don't really use any of that stuff, Michael Anthony, to be completely honest with you. So I don't have really any of them like Bloomberg. Like I said, I just have the Yahoo Finance app. And I hop on to see briefly what the futures look like sometimes. But that's about it right there, guys. Not a whole lot happening. I think we covered everything, to be completely honest with you. Good thing I only was doing an hour show tonight because, wow, we just kind of blasted through everything. I could have had laptop travels list and went through that, but I just figured we would had a little more to talk about. But anyway, there you go. That is what the market looks like. Beat right here. That heart beam that has been running up. That looks like it might have a little more run in it tomorrow as well. So look for that one in the morning for a little momentum right there. And there you go, everybody. I'd say that's a low key, interesting little night review right there for a Monday night. And again, the Dolphins and the Steelers play this evening for Monday Night Football. That didn't even start yet. And so you guys can enjoy your evening. We're going to hop on a Zoom call. I know Laptop Travel's hopping on. Not sure if Luis Rodriguez is hopping on this evening. Who else? But we're supposed to have our Zoom call for the January FX stocks and see what's going on with that. And so yeah, that's why I hopped on early tonight at 7 o'clock. So yeah, we'll just wrap it up right there. Market, doesn't look so great, but we'll definitely look at it at 7 a.m. and see if it looks a little bit better. So there you are, everybody, like Michael Anthony and Laptop Travel and Luis Rodriguez, and of course Joseph Levy hanging out, Janica, Doge Mama 9, there's Zach and Asian Joe Lee and Deep Soul Diving and so many other people. So greatly appreciate everybody always tuning in, that's for sure. And be sure to follow along on X and Instagram, YouTube, and all that good stuff, and hit the like button on your way out. But yeah, that's what we have tonight, a nice, easy, short show. And again, that makes it easy going into the holidays. 10 days until Christmas, guys. How crazy is that? And it's Happy Hanukkah. So it is Hanukkah, first day of that, first night of Hanukkah. So yeah, a lot of things going on. So we'll wrap it up early so you guys can enjoy your evenings, get ready for some holiday festivities, I'll say. And we'll get ready for the market in the morning and see what's going on at 7 a.m. So be sure to tune back in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. That's where we'll be. And we'll go ahead and look and see what's going on. And I was just kind of messing around with the rate cuts and looking at things. But remember, we were looking at January and stuff like that. But doesn't really Fed decision in January right here. And there you go. Your no changes up here. It doesn't look like anything too crazy. And we do have a lot of time because it's at the end of the month. So we have a lot of time for that rate cut to look at that. So there you go, everybody. And let's see what you have right there. Michael Anthony, OTH and CSBR. Both reporting, huh? So let's see what OTH. What the heck am I typing in there? Oh, Michael Anthony. There's OTH off the hook. Why? Yes, I don't even know what this is, but it's off the hook. It's reporting. It's brand spanking new. What are they reporting? November, December, and January? That's kind of crazy. It's not even January yet. I don't know what the heck they're gonna report, but anyway, that's an interesting one. It's brand new, and CSBR Champions Oncology, and that one's running up. They look like they just reported today. So there you go. Not sure exactly what happened with them, but it looks like they did something. Results with a record 14.9 million in services revenue and total revenue up 11%. So that might be a good one to look at there tomorrow. So there you go, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. And all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence, and we'll be back in the morning. You know that. Crypto, I'll be watching that closely tonight. I mean, look at that. That's a red map, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this Bitcoin to make sure if it wants to bounce or if it pulls back anymore, I think it might be in trouble right there. So I'll be watching that there too, Michael Anthony, and everything else. So be sure to come back at 7. We'll check out the market, see what it's going to do in the morning and for tomorrow, the rest of the week. And then we'll go and see what opportunities are there, if we're going to be short in the market, putting it down, or if it wants to bounce back up. So there you are, everybody. I'll catch you guys in the morning. I'll see Laptop Travel and a few other people on that Zoom call for the January effects stocks that we're picking out. So that's going to be a great one for you guys as well, because we're picking out the best ones with the tax law selling, and they have this whole formula, and we'll see how well we do with these guys. But we're going through a big old list and seeing what we can figure out, and doing some research. You know, Ben loves his research, and he's definitely doing plenty of it, and I'm just kind of looking at the charts to see what's going on there. So there you go, everybody. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Go enjoy the Dolphins Steeler game or anything else. And there you are. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you guys at 7 a.m.